Hello again, my fellow Jeti users. In this video, I'm going to look at updating something from Jeti's website. Jeti published this quite a long time ago, automatic switching between teacher and student. The idea being that if you're in the buddy box mode, you have a switch to set the buddy box on, which would be this one, a momentary switch. We'll use a spring-loaded one. And then movement of, say, the ailerons and the elevator stick, both have to be moved by 5% either way, tumbles through all these logic switches to switch off the buddy box. And then you can switch it back on with momentary, and then the teacher can switch off again just by moving the sticks. Now, Jeti shows a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 logic switches required to do this. But because Jeti very kindly keeps giving us fantastic updates to the software, introducing new features, we can now rewrite this with just 2 instead of 5 logic switches. In fact, if you're willing to have it as purely the elevator disengages the trainer, we can bring it down to just 1 logic switch. And I'll show you both. I should stress this is not because I'm any cleverer at programming than Jeti, but because when Jeti wrote this many years ago, it was firmware, it would be version 3 software, something like that. We're now, as I make this video, on version 5.03, and in 5.03, or maybe it's 02, they introduced some very interesting new switches into the logical switches menu, and that's what helps us bring this down. And they also at some stage introduced much better options of choosing these. So you can do away with the AND gate just to select either side of those. That can all be done within one switch rather than, or rather one input into a switch rather than needing 2 inputs. Let's have a look at how we do it. Back on our little video cradle. Okay, here we go. Let's look first of all at the 2 logic switch solution, which will use both elevator and aileron to disengage the buddy box. So we'll pop in, advanced properties, logical switches, logic switch 1, enable it, come down. Right, control 1 is going to be the spring-loaded switch that enables the whole thing. So there we go, switched on, and that would switch on the buddy box. Come down then, control 2 is going to be logic switch 2, which we'll look at making in a second. Okay, say okay to that. And the condition is going to be the A on, B off switch. There we go. Say okay to that. Now let's make logic switch 2. Logic switch 2 is when both controls are moved. So come down here, control 1, we'll say that's the elevator. Not this screen, press proportional. This is the screen you want. If you go too far, just keep pressing proportional till you get back to this one. Say OK. And we want the X is in between to a certain value. So vertical bar X, vertical bar greater than. So when X is outside, and Jeti used 5% in their example, so we'll use it. Okay. Come down here, and we do exactly the same for the aileron. When X is outside 5%. And then we come down here. It's an AND switch. So when both of those happen, it'll switch on. Let's prove it. Move just the elevator. Nothing happens. Just the aileron. Nothing happens. Move both of them together just away a little bit from neutral, and it switches on. Okie dokie. So now we're going to use logic switch 1 as the switch in the buddy box or trainer function. So it's off at the moment. If I pull the spring-loaded switch, it switches on, and there's nothing I can do with that spring-loaded switch to switch it off. It will remain locked on until L2 switches on and it'll switch off L1, and it only needs to do it for a fraction of a second as I move the sticks, boom, there. And no matter what I do with the sticks now, see, even though L2 is coming back on if I move the sticks, L1, which is what we'll use as the trainer function, won't come back on until ping the switch and then it cuts it off. Okay, let's go to wireless mode's trainer. Mode will be the teacher. Trainer switch will be logic switch 1. Okay, now let's prove it. Trainer switch is in the off position as far as the transmitter is concerned. The teacher has control. Teacher pulls the switch. Trainer goes on. The pupil now has control of the model. Teacher just has to touch the sticks, dump, and it goes off and it's locked off. Doesn't matter what I do with the stick now, it stays locked off. It will not come on until teacher pulls the switch again. Okay, we've done it there with 2 logic switches. Can we get away with 1 logic switch? Yes, if we're prepared to use just 1 stick axis, say just the elevator, so not elevator and aileron. Say okay to that. And you might think that, you know, if you're trying to grab control back of the model, it's because the pupils got themselves into a spot of bother and they're in a sort of inverted death spiral, and you're going to have to move both sticks together, or they might have rolled upside down, and you think, well, I'm only needing aileron to roll upright, but at some point you're probably going to use elevator anyway. Or you might just think to yourself, I just need to remember, if I need to take back control, I've got to bump the elevator, not just the aileron. Okie doke. So into this, enabled. Okay doke. Control 1 again will be the spring-loaded switch that gives control to the pupil. Okay. Control 2 is going to be the elevator. Again, press proportional, say OK, come across. X is outside 5%. Once again, it's a condition of A on, B off. There we go, let's check it. Control A switches it on. Nothing more can do. Control A switches it off, but Control B switches it off, and then it stays off. Okay to that. Come out of there. Wireless mode's trainer. Trainer switch is now L3. Here we are. Let's prove it. It's off. Trainer is on. Moving the switch makes no difference to it. As soon as the teacher moves the elevator, it'll switch off. Prove that it doesn't matter if you move the aileron. There, I'm moving the aileron. Nothing happens. Move the elevator a little bit and it's gone off. So there you are. With all the improvements in the software that Jeti have given us, we can make a much simpler switching system. Have fun with it.